And welcome back to the Underdog Jets podcast with Chrebet. Wayne Chrebet. I think I said Wayne, because it's raining today, day after the first snowstorm of the year. I mean, did you guys get hit with that too?
Nah, nah,
What?
just the dusting, but we lost power, so it's about the worst part of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Man, I mean, we got, I mean, it wasn't crazy, but we just got a few inches, maybe 3, 4, 5 inches.
gotcha.
But compared to PA, where I grew up, in the mountains, this is nothing. Living in Jersey
Yeah,
with the snow.
yeah. I didn't get a chance to watch too much of the college game. What's your thoughts? I know we're gonna get into the draft of this
Hmm.
quarterback from Washington.
Uh, he makes good decisions. He's
Right,
smart. I just don't like his arm.
right.
I
Yeah, I don't
don't
like the
like his
strong
arm.
motion or anything, but on that topic, I know we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, the big topic. We'll get into that. But
Hmm.
that was a question I asked. Have we seen Zach Wilson's last pass thrown as a Jet?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, listen, some of the stuff this year, the report, he didn't want to play. Whatever. I still think it's not a if there's smoke, there's fire kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think it just makes all the sense in the world. Rodgers is going to play beyond 2024. He says. He said even 2 or 3 more years recently on
Yeah.
McAfee, either
Right.
McAfee or one of the end of year pressers that I wasn't there for. So trading Wilson, giving him a fresh start is probably going to happen. I would say.
Yeah. Well, Rodgers, I mean, this is a whole topic in himself. I
Yeah.
think
Did you
he's
hear
sick
the
of.
Jimmy Kimmel stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm sick of the not weekly, the daily or hourly updates on anything in his life. Like I want him to
Yeah.
come play, but just stop. Just can we talk about something else? Can we talk
Hey
about
man,
Brees? Can we
it's
talk about Garrett? Can we talk about the defense?
yep.
This is interesting. We got some people I haven't seen that are in the chat. Good comments.
Yeah, they want to
Always
wrap up
Simon, Tim
a
Greening,
wonderful
yeah,
season.
Eagle Fang in there, of course. With his early comments,
What is he saying?
he said, "How do you feel when Robert Saleh said the O line coach did a great job this year
Yeah. Well,
um, for what he had?"
exactly. And here's the thing. Another note that ties us into the whole coaching staff is coming back. There might be a few exceptions here and there,
Yeah,
but that was evident, from 2 weeks ago, and it's been cemented. Joe
yeah,
Douglas did his end of year presser recently. I think it was yesterday. Uh, Keith Carter is the O line coach's name. It's tough to evaluate. I mean, when you lose
yeah,
pretty much every starter, it's tough. And look at the Dolphins, Wayne.
yeah,
World beaters, going to win the AFC East. What happens? Their O line gets hurt. They lose 2 or 3 guys and they have plummeted and then lost the
yeah.
division. Now they got to go to KC in what's going to be 5-degree weather this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, as far as the coaches, my feeling, so is they came out and not that they punted the season, or I guess you could say they got a mulligan. It's tough when your whole everything revolves around your quarterback who's gone in 4 plays. You want to see better results, but it's like you said, it's kind of tough. But they are officially on the hot seat. This is the year. It's playoffs or a deep run in the playoffs, or I can see them kind of clearing house, and I wouldn't blame the Johnson family. So it is what it is. They invested everything into Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see if it pays off next year.
Yeah, and with Rodgers, the positives are immense when bringing him in, but when you dance with the devil, they're going to be negatives. There's going to, what he brings in terms of the McAfee show and off the field, but even more
Yeah,
so, the offense is tailored to him in a
yeah,
way where it's tough to duplicate with any other quarterback.
yeah,
Because Hackett and him already had something there. So
yeah,
trying to replace him, 4 snaps in is not easy. It's not as easy as people think, basically.
yeah. I know. It's just you got to be able to adjust to your personnel and this and that. We go back and forth. You know
Oh,
my feeling on.
listen, I agree with you on that too. Like
Yeah,
it's not a black and white thing. Like it's nuanced, and they did a terrible job. They could have done a
yeah,
much better job, but when looking at Rodgers compared to a different guy in a different
Yeah.
system, it's much harder. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Hackett makes me miss LaFleur. That's bad.
Hey, look at the Rams, man. The Rams are in the playoffs with the floor as the
Hey,
OC.
listen, people go, coaches go other places, and quarterbacks go other places, and players go other places and succeed. Sometimes it's just coincidence. Sometimes people don't like playing in New York. It's a little harder, but yeah. Here's a topic though I wanted to get into, and I listen to the fans, and I agree with a lot of things they say. I'm a fan myself. But people complaining, say, "Oh, the Jets find a way to mess up more. They win the game, it doesn't matter, and they're going to lose, all as a draft pick because they move back to number 10." Listen, as a player, you try to win every game. There's no like looking ahead, like, "Oh, we should throw this game." So that's one thing I hate is people to say they should have lost on purpose. That's not a thing.
No.
Don't ever expect that. Don't ever wish for that, because no player is ever going to like not win on purpose. So I'm glad they won. I'm glad they ended the season that way. But they got the 10th pick instead of the 8th. So it is what it is. They ended the season right.
You said it perfectly. I mean, the same reason why the ratings, the NFL is king in the ratings department and smash it every other league is the same reason why every game counts.
Yeah.
It just 17 games a year. It's the longest off season. Every game is precious, no matter what. So, they snapped the streak against New England. What was the final? 17-3. How about this? Breece Hall, 37 touches on the game.
Yeah.
A throwback.
You know what I said? I'm not going to come on here. The worst thing, it's over. Season's over. Thank God. And it's not me thinking that. It's everybody in the building. It's just, it was a tough year. Whatever bad could happen. That's part of it. But we can't sit here and say, well, where was that all year? Why wasn't he getting 30 carries? Or why wouldn't we run in this defense? Or why wasn't this guy doing that? Let's not even think about that. Let's just concentrate on the positives, like Breece. I see Garrett Wilson switched his number back to his.
Yes. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, which is
I've
funny
even asked you in the past. Would you have stuck with 3 if the rules allowed you to back then?
I probably would have. I mean, that was my number. I always like having a single-digit number, but in the comments and I love Garrett Wilson. He's so talented. Oh man, I just bought my son number 17 jersey Wilson for Christmas, or I just got his jersey, this and that.
Yeah.
For people to know, he already had told people he's switching after the year.
Oh yeah, he told everyone in the summer.
Yeah, so he took, and now they're saying, well, 17's free. Who's number 17?
That's a good question. Oh, you're getting Jets fans stirred up right now.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. The person who wore number 5 this year was my MVP.
Morstead.
Who's number 5 this year? That was my MVP of the team.
Yeah, it's a good choice. I mean, him. Who else? Quincy Williams. Yeah. But he tailed off at the end a little bit.
I'm talking about Morstead.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to think of other candidates, but Morstead's at the top of the list.
Dude, easily. Him and Zerline. I mean, geez. But Garrett. You're talking about Garrett, like Breece, special, so special. Garrett, only going to get better with somebody on the other side. And if they brought Devontae in, forget it. Let me see that right there. Breece, the kid from Pitt didn't do much. I know he had a fumble on a kickoff.
Yeah, this is for those watching on YouTube. It's not going to help listening, but I'm showing you a current depth chart, an off-season depth chart, to see what they have at each position. And this little alarm emoji means they're going to be a free agent this summer.
Yeah, we're light there. We're light there. Receiver, tight end. I think we're good. Conklin's really good. Ruckert's coming on. Azuma.
Tight end solid.
Pittman, Vera Tucker. There's some young talent there, but we might need a couple starters, but we need like a couple backups too. They need to try to
field. They need to try to field 2 starting offensive lines.
Kind of like what they have with the defense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They have 4 edge rushers. They have guys rotate on the line.
Yeah, so true.
Huff, they gotta find a way to resign Huff.
It's gonna be interesting because the money is gonna be tight.
Yeah.
And I agree with you because and look at the O line, by the way. Connor McGovern, the guy's not even starting. Connor McGovern, Schweitzer. It's just such a shame everyone got hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, Huff, they gotta resign Huff because they're gonna have Jermaine, JFM, Quentin Williams, Quentin Jefferson would be nice to get back, but they have to have Huff. McDonald stepping up next year too.
Dude, yeah, I'm looking at this, and listen, they're always going to say it was a big miss on Zach, and it's understandable. They can't argue it. It's just it is what it is. It was a bust, fine. But look at who came out of that draft last year: Sauce, Garrett, and then Brees. What he did, and then you got Jermaine Johnson. Dude, that might be the best draft class ever by a team. I mean, and they got other picks, the guys that played. I mean, that is crazy. Was Michael Carter in that draft too?
No, Carter was
Michael Carter the second.
Yeah, it was the one before. And don't forget about Ashton Davis. I mean, he has flown under the radar, Ashton Davis, in that first draft, third-round pick. Mackay went first, and Mackay played 16 games. I tipped my cap to him. Too many penalties, too many sacks, but at very least, he played 16 games. I don't expect him to be back unless he takes – the only wild card there is him and Rodgers have a good relationship. So maybe he takes less to come back on a one-year prove-it deal. That would be the best hope. But you can't rely on him. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And
Jermaine
they
Johnson,
got talent, dude. They got talent.
Mosley, Sauce, Reed. I mean, these guys are signed, man. You keep this group together. I know they're talking 85 Bears or the Ravens team, and they got some big plays against them, but I don't know. It's just everything was messed off with the amount time of possession with the offense, and we couldn't get off the field on third down. We couldn't stay on the field on our third down. It's just, they did the best they could, the defense.
That's why it's so frustrating, and it's probably the most frustrating season for Jets fans of all time.
Yeah.
That and 99. Those are the two at the top.
Yeah.
It's because the team, like every GM, every franchise strives to have a young nucleus under contract like the Jets do.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal. So the fact that you have that and then you come out with this season, that's what makes you pull your hair out.
Yeah. You know what, though? I was just saying to my son, like, what do we do when Aaron? He's going to come back next year, maybe another year. But, like, we can't be, like, 1-2 and then that's our window. Like, we got to build and, consistency and longevity and, like, become a major factor in the league. Not for the next 2 years, but the next 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like some of these to keep the core of this team together. If they keep this defense together and they get the offense right, we're right there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think Douglas, and even in the first few seasons, like he wasn't going crazy in free agency. Why? Because he kind of knows don't go crazy in free agency until you have the nucleus first. Then you know what's under contract, how to do the salary cap. So I do see patience from them, but it's at the point where they have to win now, the way the cap is. Yeah. So I agree with you. You got to be careful. He's got to be very careful about not doing anything too drastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at some of these comments. I want to ask you the fall off. If Alt was the top guy, the kid from Notre Dame, the tackle.
Yeah.
Is there a big fall off to the second and third guy, the kid from Penn State and the kid from Oregon State? Is there that massive difference if we get
Fashanu,
one of them?
Right now, Alt and Fashanu are like neck and neck at the top.
Yeah, but I would say one of them should be not all probably.
Yeah, I think Jets fans would feel happy with any of the top three.
Yeah.
Let's pull up a mock draft because I haven't looked at one in a while.
Yeah. Here we go. Eagle Fang, always good. Garrett Wilson's comments are alarming. He said in his best season, all caps, that he had the worst year of his life. It's not about, always about personal statistics and this and that. When you go through a losing season like that, it kind of like takes away from the personal stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice if you get honors or Pro Bowl and stuff like that, but I don't blame him for saying that. It's a tough year. It's a tough thing to go through. All right, the Giants. You got the Giants taking all. Oh, and then
Yeah. This is
Titans
USA
taking.
Today. USA Today, alt to the Giants for Shanu to Tennessee. Dallas Turner, Alabama stud, to the Falcons at 8.
Why do they have us taking a tight end?
Brock Bowers. That's interesting.
It would be stupid.
That's interesting.
He's a
Listen,
special.
he's a special dude for sure. And
Yeah. I'm just
could
saying.
they use a stud legit tight end who could catch it? Yes, and he could be that
Yeah.
second option, but not before O line. No way.
Yeah, but they got money invested in Conklin and Zuma, Ruckert's, young.
I like Yaboa
Um,
too. I mean, Yaboa is, I think, an under the radar guy.
all right, Albert White. What do we have to give up for Devontae? I mean,
Oh, geez, what's his contract now? We got to look at his contract. Um, it depends. First is Antonio Pierce staying. That's a big thing
they're saying
because
what am I talking about for that? He should get that job. He's good. I know he was in Arizona State with Herm. I know Herm thought highly of him. What do you think about Belichick? Maybe Vrabel coming back to be the head coach.
I wouldn't be shocked if Vrabel winds up the head coach of the Pats. I would not be shocked.
That'd be
Like
pretty cool.
that firing, it seems more. I'm not convinced it's a true firing by Tennessee. I think maybe Vrabel knows where he's going next, and he kind of played games.
Yeah.
I'm holding out judgment on that right now. So we'll see what happens with Belichick and the Pats. But my gut is telling me Belichick's going to leave.
Well, I don't know if he's going to go somewhere else, but to answer the question, was it Belichick or Brady? I think it's going towards Brady was the reason.
Yeah.
A little bit more than Belichick.
Yeah. And listen, Belichick's one of the greats of all time, but he needs a GM as well. Like his personnel decisions are just horrible, horrendous.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, by the way, is under contract until 2026. It all depends on who the coach is. Is Pierce staying? He's already 31. He's probably going to be 32 by the time he plays next year. I don't know when his birthday is. So I'm not giving up a first-round pick for him. No way. No chance.
Here's C Moon, Garfield born to love you, Wayne. C Moon. Wonder if you went to Garfield High School. Let me know if you went to Garfield High School.
Garfield. What was the mascot? What was your guys' mascot?
Boilermakers.
Boilermakers.
We're named after a drink.
In
There's a lot
Jersey.
of bars in Garfield.
Yeah, that there is.
What are they saying? Yeah, people are talking about Bowers. Sign and trade Huff. Nah, do you sign that kid? You keep him.
Yeah, no, you can't trade.
How old is Quincy? Quincy's mid-20s too, right?
Quincy's a little older than we think. He's like 26, 27 at this point. He got a late start in the NFL in terms of getting a chance. He's 27.
Okay.
So he's got, he's still got time, but he's not, one of these young bucks like Garrett Wilson or Brees.
Yeah. Thomas Gutman basically was saying about taking Garrett and guys like that out when the game didn't mean much in the second half. I think he got head injury or something like that. Yeah, you know what?
Jabril Peppers.
Tough because you want the team to win and let the players ride it out and end on the field. Especially during a victory, you want to be on the field in that victory formation, taking the knee. So yeah, hindsight, you could say, yeah, they should have took him and Brees and stuff out, but it's
the last game of the season too.
He's got time to recover.
Yeah, and these guys are going for 1,000 yards. Garrett Wilson eclipsed it. He might have had 1,000 going into the game. Brees Hall fell 6 yards short of 1,000, so there's no question he was going for it.
Yeah.
Look at this from Eagle Fang. Do you feel if Woody Johnson had a promise that Jim Harbaugh was coming to the Jets, would he keep Robert Saleh? That's an impossible question to answer. I think a lot has to do with Joe Douglas and Aaron Rodgers on that, but Jim Harbaugh's not coming to the Jets.
No, no, he's we're fine. We're fine. Would given another year to see, and I've complained not so much about, the thing that Sal I had a problem with is just, it's sometimes it's just the emotion's not there, and sometimes it's great, and it's the energy's contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think they show him the worst possible times, throwing penalties or turnovers or whatever else, where he's just kind of like glazed over. But when he gets fired up, the players follow that. It's contagious. But he's him and Douglas are the right duo to lead that team.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's like I have questions about the coach and the strategy, but I would not make a change. It just doesn't make sense to.
Yeah.
You got to run it back. There's another one I just saw too. Brock Bowers. He's a fullback, tight end, and receiver all in one. How good is his blocking? I'm not sure about Bowers yet in terms of blocking. I know he's an animal. Like, he's rabid. His motor is high, but I don't know how his blocking will translate to the NFL yet. That's the one thing.
He could run after the catch.
That's for sure.
What I was going to say. I'm glad we haven't talked about Rodgers for the last 20 minutes. I'm not talking about him. I said his name. I want to make a point saying we're not talking about him.
Who? Mr. Rodgers? Eagle fan, no one pressed Joe Douglas hard in the media when Douglas was talking about adversity. How come he was not on the phone before and after? Basically his point is, why did he not sign a backup quarterback? He was asked that. I forgot who it was that asked him that. But his answer was pretty much, hey, we had a backup quarterback, but the plan didn't work.
Listen, they had a plan B, which they had to put into effect after 4 plays, but they didn't have a plan C. They should have immediately found. You look at the guys. You look at Flacco. You look at Minshew. You look at you look at all these guys that came in. You got 5 quarterbacks that played for the Browns. They should have brought someone in immediately, and when the offensive line went down, especially in the bye week, they should have just brought in a half dozen guys.
Dobbs.
That was my big problem, is that, at that point, they were still playing meaningful football. And I think that really hampered them. They should have, made the big push or made a move or made a trade, and not just went with what they had, because, obviously it didn't work.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Here are the needs. Huff, what's going to happen with him? Because if they lose him, they got to get another edge rusher somewhere.
Yeah.
O-line, obviously, and that second receiving threat behind Garrett Wilson.
And third.
In the ideal world, in my mind, you push Garrett Wilson to the slot and you have bigger bodies on the outside. I'm going all in for Mike Evans. As long as you feel comfortable with him after meeting him, that he's okay and he's not going to break down at his age, I'm going all in for Mike Evans if it's not crazy money.
1,000 yards receiving every year was your. I was looking at some of these stats of these receivers. Oh my God, that kid from the Rams, the Puka kid.
Yeah.
1,500 yards, and I was looking at the snubs for Pro Bowl, and they were like CeeDee Lamb. Why didn't he make? And I'm like, what the hell, dude? You see CeeDee Lamb's numbers?
I didn't even know.
I was like, Mari St. Brown, all these guys, man. I'm like, Jesus.
Brown didn't either. I didn't even know this. Like, I'm not. That's how not plugged in I am to the Pro Bowl. I did not know that.
Dude, I was like looking at some of the stats. Brees, all-purpose yards.
Yep. Quincy was the big snub for Jets players. They were shouting Quincy's name.
You know what though? When you have that record, when you have a team that's a good record, they're taking. Their secondary players, not even their main players. But you know what? It's a year. Someone told me about the Pro Bowl. It's a popularity contest. You make it 2 years after you're supposed to, and you're in it 2 years. When you should have been out of it. It's just It is
It's so
what it
true.
is. After games, people they're meeting at midfield and campaigning, and I never did that in my best year, and maybe that would have helped, but
Yeah, you got absolutely hosed in '98.
98. So but yeah. I just like these stories in the league. Did you see this kid from the place kicker for the Cowboys?
Oh, Brandon Aubrey.
Dude, he ended up 35 for
Perfect.
35.
Yeah, he was on two of my fantasy teams. I have three fantasy teams. He was on two of them. I just
Dude,
took a chance on him because he's from Notre Dame, and I love Notre Dame, so it worked out.
35 for 35 and like 6 or 7 from 50. That's the
Yeah,
kind of stuff I love, man. And he was
played
played
soccer, right?
soccer. He played soccer and like one of the MLS teams.
Yeah. He hasn't been a place kicker for a while since
Yeah.
college, most likely, and just came back. And great job by Jerry Jones and the Cowboys there, because certainly helped my fantasy team. By the way, I lost my hometown fantasy league championship. All I needed was 7.5 points from Justin Jefferson. So you think you got it in the bag, right?
Right,
Nope.
right,
They instead of starting Mullins, they start Jaron Hall, and they can't do anything all night.
right.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Dude, the best thing about betting player props, I took anybody who needed statistics for incentives or anybody who got snubbed for Pro Bowl. Marcin Brown
Motivation.
touchdown, Puka touchdown, Hopkins, DeAndre, anybody who needed these stats got them. If you just paid attention to it.
Yep. And Jefferson, to that point, Jefferson, after being frustrated and shut down, went off for like 35 fantasy points this past weekend.
Eagle Fang, another. Who has better hands, Evans or Devontae?
I have to say
Evans
Devontae. It's close, but I'd have
yeah.
to say Devontae.
Evans is more. He's a good 50-50 guy. Devontae makes some crazy catches. Route wise, Devontae is
He's the best in the
superior to Evans.
Route, Devontae is the best in the league, and spectacular catch, it's probably Devontae, but high point and red zone, Evans by far.
Yeah. Devontae's routes and Jefferson routes and Diggs routes. Some of these guys.
Yeah, Diggs is good too.
Here's a good thing. Tag Huff and trade him for Devontae. Would they tag Huff? I mean, who would be? Who's our franchise player possibly?
So they can tag him, and it's going to be on the table as an option. But the problem with tagging Huff is that franchise money is dependent upon a percentage of the highest paid guys at that position.
Right.
And it's tough to tag an edge guy because they get paid a ton of money.
Yeah.
So you'll be overpaying for him for 1 year. It's an option.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off.
That's why it was no big deal Giants tagging like Saquon or something like that.
Correct.
The running backs, they're not,
Correct.
That was another thing. Some of these players, Christian McCaffrey, as far as sometimes it's by committee, running back stuff like that. That kid is phenomenal. I played against his dad, who was good, but
oh yeah,
that kid
and McCaffrey was really good, man. He was underrated too.
Yeah,
he really made those Denver offenses go, because you knew about Sharp, you knew about Rod Smith and Terrell Davis, but McCaffrey was that guy.
I would have to say in that year, 98, the top duos was McCaffrey, Rod Smith, me and Keyshawn. That was probably, we're probably the top 2 or 3 or 2 or 5. That was
I think so. Yeah. Minnesota too. Chris Carter, Randy Moss, they're up there. Jacksonville had a good duo too. McCardell, Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably 4 of the top 5 right there.
Yeah. I still think the best. I saw Santana at the Washington game.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah. I go see him. And he's he's wearing all the maroon and gold. He's got the Washington hat on, the Washington scarf on. in the jet suite. I was like, he wasn't representing the team.
So he's stuck to the Washington organization, basically.
Yeah. Well, also he does work for them and podcast stuff like that.
Yes.
But it was funny.
Yes.
We're laughing.
It's interesting how that happens with players because he did have a evenly split career pretty much with the Jets in Washington.
It was fun. Listen, the fans came out in that crappy weather. They're still cheering. They're still tailgating. Like I said, it was tough at the end, but I think it was a nice little, holiday surprise and good feeling to have that win on the road, AFC East versus Belichick, and hopefully, he has that sour taste in his mouth that the last game, if he never coached again, was worth against his rival, the team he hates the most.
Yeah, it's funny with Belichick. There was Jets fans saying, "Oh, he's losing on purpose." Like, no matter what the Jets do, it's the wrong thing. Like, oh, Belichick's a genius. He's losing on purpose. And I asked them, I go, can you not imagine Belichick, what he would be doing if he was winning this game and how he would react if he won the game? He'd act like it was freaking Super Bowl 50. They come on, gotta enjoy this one. Like, enough with the streak.
What's funny is he looked cold. Usually, he's on the sideline. He's got his, sleeveless sweat, cut off sweatshirt and this and that. He just looked miserable. I love it.
Freezing his ass. Like maybe he's waiting for a warm weather team to open up its vacancy.
Someone asked me, did I like playing in the snow in 11 years? Playing in the Northeast, playing at Buffalo.
Never played in the snow?
I never played in the snow.
I'm trying to think about it right now. There was that one big snowstorm game where Curtis Martin ran wild against Pittsburgh.
I didn't play that one.
Were you on the team still? Was that 2004?
No, I think I was out for the year with
that might have been 05. That might have been 05. Yep. That was a monster snowstorm. That's the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
While we're waiting here,
what's that?
I was gonna say, everyone rate and review us at iTunes, share this video, all that good stuff. Use discount code 80 at Jets X Factor. Yeah. And we'll wrap it up with some NFL playoff. 2 minutes looking at the NFL playoffs. See who Wayne thinks going to make it through to the Super Bowl.
All right, looking at this line, Baltimore 1 seed, Cleveland, Houston. I'd love to see the Stroud kid do something in Houston.
Yeah, he's impressive.
Yeah, Miami, KC, obviously KC, Pitt, Buffalo. I want to see some new teams in it. I'd love to see Houston or
how about a Cleveland, Detroit? Cleveland, Detroit Super Bowl. First Super Bowl for each franchise.
Yeah, I care more. Yeah, I care more about I don't want to see Philly or Tampa, Detroit. You know what I mean? Like you said, Houston. I mean, even the Dolphins haven't been. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm rooting for Detroit. Those
are my teams: Cleveland and Detroit all the way. And there were most Jets fans could feel that because to see a fan base have success, like the Eagles with Foles when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it was very Jets fans could understand it because they went so long. They never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now it's different with Philly. I mean, they're a train wreck, and they're just, I don't know what they are. I don't know what Sirianni's doing. Yeah. But it's interesting. A lot of the good teams are coming in terrible. Philly, KC, Miami. So we'll see.
We'll see, but we'll get back on here. Maybe after this week, do something quick if there's news about the team or hirings or firings or playoff news. But again, I always say thanks for everybody tuning in this year. Great questions all the time. Join what is it? Subscribe and all that stuff. But it was a good year. It's not over yet, but I had a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, me too. We'll do a lot. We'll do some betting stuff this month too, because the betting stuff in January is king. Early February for the Super Bowl. So we'll dig into that.
All right, sounds good, man. Happy New Year to you. A week late.
Hey, you too. Hey, listen. As long as it's not April or like a Happy New Year in March or February, it's all good.
All right.
All right, guys. Till next time. We'll see you.